please?
Yeah, you're good. I got it out of my system now. I'll be like Theo Vaughn. If it needs to come out, I'll write it down.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That would be great. At least while I'm streaming, so I don't have to restart my streams. I really thought that's what happened last night. That shit fucking pissed me off. All right, here we go, chat. How a manhole cover became the fastest man-made object ever.
Video was made possible by Skillshare. Get unlimited access to over 20,000 classes for free for 2 months by essay back to highly this man-made object ever. I'll give you a hint. It's not the U.S. military when a developing country finds oil.
I bet you I know what it is. I bet you it's a manhole cover. Am I right?
I bet it's if like if it's in a vacuum, they can you can get something to go fast as fuck because then there's no air resistance. So I'm assuming it's something to do with that.
It's not James Charles's subscriber count, and it's not Sonic, the terrifying human tooth through golem that haunts my nightmares. Is it actually
though? Like, there's
Sonic
no way
didn't end
that...
up looking like that. I don't like that they keep saying that Sonic looks like that. It makes
hold
not
the clicker. I gotta go get my vape real quick.
Hold the click. What the fuck? What kind of? This dude is fucking up my channel. I tell you what, you're fired. Building.
You have a bad associate.
For real, we're gonna have to go in a private Discord.
Nah, the Sonic movies are actually fire.
That's what I'm saying. I don't like that everybody that talks about the Sonic movie always clips this old ass fucking trailer and says that's what the Sonic movie is, because it was not this. They fixed it.
God, that is
yes,
like creepy motherfucker.
They did fuck up. They did fuck up at first. I'm not gonna deny it. Like, this is atrocious. There's no denying it, but they fixed it.
Like, the weird part is like, you can't, like, yes, there are things you can describe that makes it look creepy, but like at the same time, when you look at it, it doesn't, like, you can't easily, obviously the teeth look fucking weird, but like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, looking at it, you can't immediately be like, oh, it's this that's making this thing look fucking terrifying. It's like the whole thing just is slightly off, and it's just like off-putting.
Yeah.
It's like not necessarily like a abomination. It's just so just slightly off that it like exactly is just off-putting.
It's not on pudding either. I hate pudding.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright, let's try again, chat.
What is the answer? Well, if you've watched this channel before, you probably know what I'm about to say.
It's a manhole cover.
And good for watch time. If we're talking about moving on land, then it's the Thrust SSC, a British rocket car that looks like it should be piloted by either James Bond or Anakin Skywalker. Its actual driver, British fighter pilot Andy Green, for apparently no reason other than, hey, why not, drove it to top speed in the middle of the Black Rock Desert, reaching the record speed of 763 miles or 1,228 kilometers per hour on a...
That dude's got balls, dude.
I know, bro.
How
like,
big are, how did his balls not weigh down? Like, it would have went faster were it for not his massive balls weighing that car down.
Any little fucking deviation, you are being sent flying, brother.
Well, that's why he did it on the fucking desert. You seen that one dude who's got a blind friend and he takes him driving out in the desert and lets him full
and he just said, "You're good, you're
October
good."
15th, 1997.
What a friend.
But we're really
we all
not
need
talking
a friend
about
like
the
that.
fastest man-made object on land
Everyone
because this
deserves a
video
friend
is
like
not
that.
long enough yet. If we're talking about travel through air, though, then that's another story. A much longer and much stranger story. Starting in 1945, the United States began conducting tests of nuclear bombs. At first,
Number
most of them were above ground,
one.
but in the late 50s, people started to think blowing up air isn't satisfying enough, and maybe this radiation thing isn't too good for us, and so they moved the big boom tests underground.
Number one in what?
Everything. War crimes, racism, military
spending.
Cancer, obesity, diabetes,
I feel like autism
probably
rates
probably
gotta be
yeah,
the
probably
highest here.
autism. Probably just retards all around. Well, India's probably fucking beaten up there with us.
Hey, hey, don't listen. I didn't say it. I just laughed.
The thing is, though, they didn't really know what would happen. The first test was conducted on August 27, 1957. They dug a long cylindrical hole into the ground, put a bomb in it, put a 2-ton concrete plug on top of it, which was covered by a 4-inch thick steel manhole cover. Then, as one
Like,
does,
who-
they went ahead and
pause
set
it real
off the bomb.
quick.
To their
No,
Dudes,
I want to
it was
keep
a bunch
it on
of
that.
bros being bros.
I want to keep
Ross,
it on that
you
picture.
might not
I
like
wanna
it,
keep
but this
like,
is innovation.
like
Then, as one-
you fucking have this bomb that is catastrophic damage, right? And you're like, okay,
We should put a cork
let's
in
put,
it.
let's put this bitch in the ground, throw some cement on this bitch.
This
throw
is
a
what
man-
funded
throw a cover
science
on
looks
it'll be
like.
alright.
This is what
But, like,
funded science looks
Well,
like,
what I'm
Ross.
trying to like even get is like you obviously know that energy has to go somewhere. So
Well, that's why you put the
what's
concrete in
the
the manhole
point
cover
of
there.
building something to completely try to seal it in? That doesn't like
They were trying to
Because you
split the
gotta have
earth in half,
provisions
dude.
for the public, like, peace of mind.
They were trying to split the earth in half so they could have a half for the whites and a half for the rest of us. And they
Good
fucking
God.
failed. And this is what happened.
does, they
You're
went
right.
ahead and set off the bomb.
how many
To their
animals
surprise,
like
the concrete
many
plug
miles
was
away do you
vaporized
think like
instantly,
felt
turn-
the shake or some shit?
Oh
Like
no,
through
bro,
the
for
earth. Like
miles.
Oh, a lot.
I wonder how far the shockwaves travel through the earth because I know that they like you'd be surprised how fast they would die off because of like it just being like a solid, but I do wonder with that much energy how far that shockwave would travel through the fucking earth.
Yeah, the fact that it says it instantly vaporized the concrete plug is
turning
crazy.
it into a mass of superheated gas that expanded and essentially made the entire hole into a gigantic gun barrel. When the gas hit the
Fucking-
manhole cover, bam,
Science,
made a
it was
baby.
laser
blown off the ground
cannon.
instantly, shot into the sky, and disappeared out of sight. Now, normally we just shrug our shoulders, satisfied with the continued mystery of how fast the manhole cover went, and get back to the inconsequential nuking of the ground. But luckily, this time there was a high-speed camera on site that caught a glimpse
This
of
part
the
is
manhole
crazy
cover.
as fuck.
The
What
camera
year was
shot at
this?
1 frame per millisecond, or 1,000
57,
frames per
I think it
second,
said.
and it only caught the manhole cover in a single frame,
1,000
which
frames.
allowed them to calculate, using math stuff, a lower bound for the manhole cover's speed. By looking at where the manhole cover was in the frame, and then calculating the distance between there and the bottom of the frame, we find the
how
shortest
the
possible
slow-mo
distance it
guys
could have traveled between
do
when
it
the
in their
last frame was
videos.
taken and when this frame was taken. In other words, we're assuming that when the frame was taken, the manhole cover was here, just below the frame. Then we take that distance and divide it by 1 millisecond, the time between the frames, to get distance per second. So we're basically saying, if the manhole cover was here, and then 1 millisecond later it was here, how fast did it travel? Now, we can't do the actual calculation ourselves because the government has never released the video and for some reason refuses to declassify it for what is one of the internet's most regarded YouTube channels, but we do know that
Probably
the
'cause it
scientist
was
conducting the
fucking
experiment, Dr. Brown
devastating.
Lee, took that information from the high-speed camera,
I got the
combined it with
video.
calculations
I've
of the
seen the
blast force
video.
from the bomb, did
Or
math
maybe it
things,
wasn't
and
that
reported
one, maybe
the
it was
manhole
the
cover had been
concrete
moving
island.
at 6 times the Earth's escape velocity, which would put it at about 125,000 miles, or 200,000 kilometers per hour, or 34 miles, or 54 kilometers per second. So, like, fast. There is disagreement as to
Fast
whether
as
or
fuck,
not
boy.
the manhole cover made it into space. Some say that it would have burned
I don't
up
think you
on
have
its
any
way
idea
out
how
of the
fast it
atmosphere,
really is.
while others say that it may have been moving so fast that it wouldn't have had time to burn up. Either way, just like my ability
What?
to write decent jokes, the manhole cover has never been found. If it did really make it into space, it would have been the first object ever launched into space. The experiment happened on August 27th, 1957, just over a month before Sputnik's launch
What if
on
they
October
shot?
4th, 1950.
What if they shot Sputnik out of the sky with a manhole cover? They were like, "Hey, you Russian bastards ain't gonna beat us to space."
Fucking
Fucking
railgun
Take that,
sound.
commies. As of
Just
today,
fucking-
it seems that
giant
no other object
revolver.
has managed to come even close to the manhole cover speed while still in the Earth's atmosphere. If we count space travel,
shot,
though, then the
one
manhole
kill.
cover has met its match. Although the manhole cover would have been moving over 4 times faster than the fastest manned
I
space
would
vehicle,
assume that
its record for
that
fastest
manhole
man-
cover was instantaneously like mangled almost beyond recognition. Like there's no way it was like a normal solid chunk of metal.
No, because it
after
probably
that.
burned up in the atmosphere when it
That's what
fucking
I.
got launched.
No, I'm
through
saying
that
I'm saying
part.
Ah.
on contact. Like if they have the
main
video or the
object was
picture
surpassed
of
in
it,
the 1970s
like I'm
Yeah.
sure it's gonna be fucked up, and then it's
by
only
NASA's
fucking
Helios probe,
burning
and then
as it's
again in
going up.
2016 by the
I
Juno
found the
probe.
video.
The Helios 2 probe
It's
became
not
the
that.
fastest
It's
ever
not
made
the one that we're
object
watching, but
There's no
I
way
found
you
the
hacked the
video.
government and you found the video.
Link
Base
in the
in
Discord.
1976.
No, not of
watching
that
this.
one, but I found the
Designed to
video
stop-
that
This
I'm
guy
thinking
doesn't
of.
have it. You don't have it.
Study
I
of the
just
sun
sent you
was
it.
in an
Fucking watch
elliptical
it.
orbit
He's trying
It's
to
not
look-
the same thing.
Look, our channel's gonna be the first to discover
around the
this
sun.
stuff.
Because it
We're
followed the
the first
conservation
to
of
put
angular
these two
momentum,
videos together.
its speed increased
probably
as it
some
got closer
AI
to the
video.
sun, and it eventually topped out at
No,
157,000
don't think you're
miles
hearing
per
what
hour.
I'm saying. It's a
Then, just
completely
recently,
different
in
thing.
2016, the Juno space probe broke that record
So
when
this
it was
guy's
sucked
just
in by Jupiter's
bringing up
gravitational
a whole
pull,
different
reaching
concept.
165,000
I mean,
miles
it's
per hour.
damn near more
It was actually
impressive because
moving
this
so
one's a
fast that it had to hit
2,000-pound
the brakes
manhole
so that it
cover.
could enter Jupiter's orbit instead of flying right past it. But it's also important to note that both of those probes only reach those speeds by using the gravity of the sun or another planet, which kind of feels like cheating. I mean, if I was allowed to use the sun's gravity to pull me, I maybe wouldn't have come in last place at my 7th grade track meet. So, if we only count self-propelled objects, then, unbelievably,
This dude's
the
jokes
manhole
make me wanna
cover
kill
still
myself.
reigns supreme. What should really be the fastest object in human history, though, is your mouse when you hear that you can learn for free for 2
Okay. Well,
Is his channel saying like he makes the shit he talks about half as interesting? Like,
yeah, I don't
or,
get.
or is he saying like?
Listen,
or is
he's
he saying,
got
like,
2.9 mil
half-ass-
subscribers. So
I
I
know,
can't
or is
tell
he
you
saying
shit,
like
but
half-ass interesting videos? Like he's half-assing these videos.
half-ass interesting?
Nah, I mean I fuck with the
I want to
name.
know
It's
how
like
the U.S. transports its nuclear weapons because that has croissants in the video, and I love croissants. That's the only thing the French ever did right. Why is
I sent you a
croissants?
shit ton of videos.
All right, let's see. This better be on.
I
Discord.
heard going to like Paris and shit, like it's not as
No,
nice
okay,
as
well,
you
we
would
can't
hope.
be jumping all over. Jesus, I need the manhole cover video.
He's supposed to be
This is the
sending
last
it to
one.
you. I was filling in the dead space, dude. Damn, dude.
What?
What?
Ah,
This is
yes,
not the manhole cover.
My God, I've said it like 15 times. This is an entirely different thing.
Today we're talking about Fort Drum. Yes, I realize that's a military base in New York. No, that's not what we're talking about.
This
There's
guy looks so
another
much
Fort
cooler
Drum.
than.
Wait a minute. Just because
Just
this
go
Look at
way
his
to
cool
the
setup,
end.
dude. Look at his cool setup. He's got like a
Guarding the
safe and
mouth of Manila
shit.
Bay
Probably
in the
so many cool
Philippines.
guns.
It's also referred to as El Frale Island, America's unsinkable
America!
concrete.
Yeah, look at all those tattoos he's got. Wow, what
probably
a sinner.
He's
I
probably,
love sinners.
He's probably not a man of God like yourself.
For real, not a man of faith. No, actually, his look clean as fuck. He actually looks like he's thought it out. Huh.
Battleship,
I
or
want
the
to see that. Oh, this is nice. This is very nice.
USS No-Go. Basically, the U.S.
Ooh.
You want to start licking them now or what?
I don't know, dude. I'm just looking, but like, I like people that have like, this is thought out. This is methodic.
It's not just random shit scattered.
military
Yeah.
took a tiny island and turned the entire thing into a gun, and we're going to talk about it. Right after a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Sheath. Okay, here's the deal. They're like normal underwear,
Sheath,
except
put
they're better
your
because they don't
cock in
have
a
balls. They're out
sheath.
nothing. I'm going to have a link in the
Alright.
Discord. Mysteriously
We're not
exploded in the
sponsored by
Cuban
Sheath, so
98.
we're
Let's go
not
ahead and double
watching
British
that.
American War. Why is America at war with Spain? To be honest, I'm kind of blanking out on that right now. Statistically, it's probably because they
War crime? Like the shit that Benjamin Netanyahu commits all the time?
It says it's never a war crime the first time.
Oh. Well,
messed
The
with our
first
boats, so
time.
let's go ahead and double check that together. How did the Spanish-American War start? The USS Maine mysteriously exploded in a Cuban harbor, believed to be the Spanish.
what is this? What? I'm fucking
Don't
too
fuck with our
slow to
boats.
follow this.
They touched our boats. so we
See, I was
declared
right.
war.
It's always the boats every single time. Honestly, at this point, Jordan Peterson needs to go back and rewrite his book, because he actually wrote a book called 12 Rules for Life, and the fact that not fucking with America's boats wasn't rule number 1 seems like an oversight on his part. Anyways, so America sends a bunch of boats into Manila Bay to fight the Spanish. While they're headed
We do like our boats, bruh.
into Manila Bay, they pass this tiny little rock island called
How
El
many
they
wars
cost-
have we fought over boats,
Well, you know
dog?
why though? You know why? It's because of how much money do they invest into each one
Yeah.
of those fucking boats, and they're like, "You want to touch our fucking money?"
And we kind of pay a lot in it, and we kind of like to use it.
Fuck with our hoats.
Yeah, an aircraft carrier cost $1 billion.
Hoats are essential to fucking. Yo, this is this is turning. This is rhyming
Boats
shit.
are boats and bows.
Oh,
Use
Jesus
Spain
Christ.
paint, relax,
A
dude.
Ford-class U.S. aircraft carrier is $15.7 billion. Don't fucking touch
And
him.
on El Frale, there was a bunch of Spanish artillery that basically tried to ambush all the American ships. It didn't really work, but it was a super good idea. Fast forward, America wins the Spanish-American War, takes control of the Philippines. So now with America in charge, they decided that they wanted to be able to defend Manila Bay, and they remembered back to how the Spanish almost had a successful ambush by putting artillery on El Frale, and that's when the Americans in charge said, hey, hear me out. Instead of putting artillery on El Frale, what if we turned El Frale into artillery? So the engineer was like, okay, here's the plan. We're going to level the entire island perfectly tabletop flat, and then we're going to build an enormous concrete bunker on top of it with 2 battleship turrets, each of which having 2 12-inch guns on them. So the engineer in charge draws the blueprints up, sends those off to the War Department to get approval, at which point the War Department is like, hold on, let me get this straight. You want to level an entire island.
Good question.
Build an enormous concrete bunker on top of it, and then you want to equip it with 2 battleship turrets, each of which has 2 12-inch guns that we're going to have to manufacture in Watervliet Arsenal in New York and ship them all the way to the Philippines. To which the engineer is like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And the War Department is like,
pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
In the Philippines.
because we're going to do 14-inch guns, each of which is going to be shooting 1,600-pound shells. If somebody tries to sneak into Manila Bay, we're literally going to start shooting cars at them till they go away. So they start construction in 1909, and it takes them 5 years to finish. And what they end up with is Fort Drum. Its concrete is anywhere between 25 and 36 feet thick. The top deck is completely reinforced with steel, essentially making the entire fort.
This is just a concrete battleship out in the water. This is nuts.
Fortress completely impervious to any weapon that exists at this point in time. Then the guns on top are 14.
What the fuck? Dude, I've been on a battleship in Alabama, and just being on one of them was crazy as fuck. I can't imagine the shit they have now. It's probably cities on water.
I feel like this is what like an unsupervised military looks like, but I love it.
Yeah, just like military dominance.
1909
You're saying just because like they looked at this fucking little island, they said, yeah, I'm gonna turn that into a fucking fortress.
Basically just a gun.
And it is the only place they were ever used. This turret has armor that is 18 inches thick,
that?
virtually
I want that
making
to be a weapon.
impervious too. Then, just in case being able to shoot cars at people you don't like while being inside of a bunker that makes you impervious to retaliation isn't enough, it also has 4 6-inch guns and 2 3-inch anti-aircraft guns.
Video?
And inside the bunker they have...
Have they used it? Do we get to see them use it?
I don't think they used it, but they blew it up. And they filmed
it. Blow it up if it was impervious?
6 months worth of food, their own
diesel,
power plant, and a
TNT,
distillery
and
so that they can make their own
I think C4.
clean drinking water. Basically, it's the world's best doomsday bunker. So it's completely done. It's like 1914. America has built this incredible weapon, and now, in true American fashion, we're not really going to use it until it's borderline obsolete, and then we're going to give it away to somebody else. So kind of fast forward through the next 20 years. I mean, there's always Army guys stationed there and on hand in case anything happens, but nothing ever does. It's kind of like being stationed on a naval vessel, and because of that, the Army guys that serve there give it the nickname the USS No-Go, considering it never fucking goes anywhere. Then, of course, during that same time period, World War I happens. After after World War I, America downsizes their military considerably, then the Great Depression happens, and because of that, pretty much no upgrades or maintenance gets done to Fort Drum during that entire time. So for its first 2 decades, it receives pretty much no upgrades. It's already becoming obsolete. Then in 1934, the US government comes out and says, over the course of the next 10 years, between 1934 and 1944, America is going to move towards establishing the Philippines as its own sovereign nation. So obviously, they're also going to turn over Fort Drum to the Philippines, and because of that, they have even less motivation to do any upgrades to it, so none get done. Then during that 10-year time period, World War II kicks off in 1939, but America's not getting involved. We're minding our own business, and by minding our own business, I mean we're basically funding the entire thing through Lend-Lease, but, you know, we're not involved. Then Pearl Harbor happens in 1941, aka somebody fucks with our boats, now we're going to war. Less than 10 hours after Pearl Harbor, the Japanese show up in the Philippines, they invade, the American forces are not ready, and they all get driven down to the Bataan Peninsula, which as you can see is also at the mouth of Manila Bay with Corregidor and Fort Drum. For like the next 5 months, while American and Filipino forces duke it out with the Japanese on the peninsula, Fort Drum is pretty much shooting at any Japanese vessel that gets anywhere near it. The Japanese vessels are returning fire at Fort Drum, they're launching air raids, trying to bomb Fort Drum, none of which is effective at all. Also during this time, the Marines and soldiers stationed at Fort Drum
They didn't tell
rip
us
all
about
the
this shit in
buildings on top of it
Hawaii.
off, throw that shit in the ocean. They also tear down the 60-foot search tower
Maybe they
and
did,
get
and I
rid of
was
that as
not
well.
paying
That way,
attention.
the massive turrets
Well, I
can
don't
do
know
a
why they
full
would. This is in the
360 and be able to
Philippines.
shoot in any direction. Then April 9th,
But it's kinda
1942,
badass we had
Bataan
this
falls,
there.
and the only thing left is Corregidor, Fort Drum, and 2 other small coastal forts. For weeks after
I
this,
didn't know
the
it was
Japanese
involved
shell
during
both
Pearl
Corregidor
Harbor.
and
I
Fort
mean,
Drum
shit
with
like
naval
this is
gunfire,
why
as well as
America
conduct
kept
bombing
winning
runs.
wars.
Fort Drum is pretty much completely impervious to all of it, which infuriates the
It's just-
Japanese. Corregidor,
Yeah,
Some
that's where
fucking
during
dudes
Trump's
with-
presidency, you didn't hear anybody talking about cutting back military budgets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to spread democracy, damn it.
on the other hand, is nowhere near as fortified, and they are hurting bad. Because of this, the majority
Everywhere
of
should be
Corregidor's
America.
defenses have been completely
Hell yeah.
destroyed, and the only thing defending Corregidor now is Fort Drum. On May 5th, 1942, the Japanese would launch an amphibious attack on Corregidor. Fort Drum would land direct hits on 2 Japanese landing craft, destroying them completely, infuriating the Japanese even further. Despite that, it wasn't enough, and Corregidor would fall on May 5th. The concrete battleship and the 240 men manning it are now the last holdouts in the Philippines against the Japanese, and it is pissing the Japanese off.
It's weird. I don't fuck with China because of the CCP, but I respect the shit out of Japanese people a lot. I don't know why. I just like their culture. They hold on to traditional
Yeah.
values, and then they did surrender, and then they didn't like try to retaliate afterwards. They just took their L.
I
But-
respect them like post Vietnam, but dude, World War II absolutely fucked them, dude. They were goddamn savages.
I mean,
and
you
in
know,
immediate retaliation for them taking out several
I
of the
don't know much
Japanese
about
landing
what was
crafts at Corregidor,
happening.
they began
You,
launching
if
air
you want
raids
to
against
know,
Fort
watch
Drum,
a
and they
video
are,
called
again,
like
like
ramen.
how Japan's
I wanna-
war crimes got forgotten or some shit like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out at some point because we never learned about all
ineffective.
that.
During those air
Unit
raids, some of the Marines
731,
manning the
dude.
anti-aircraft guns would
Fucked
manage
up
to
shit.
shoot down a Japanese bomber, only serving to piss them off even more. At this point, General Wainwright, the man left in charge of American forces in the Philippines after General MacArthur abandoned his men and fled to Australia, issued the order that all American
That dude looked like Franklin the Turtle. Look at his no fucking chin
Yeah.
having ass. That's crazy.
after General MacArthur abandoned his men and fled to Australia, issued the order that all American forces were to surrender on May
Apparently,
6th at noon. At this point,
watching
according to
a
the legend,
video.
the entire crew of the USS No-Go, aka Fort Drum, gets together and they have a conversation and talk about whether or not they want to even follow this order because they think they can go toe-to-toe with the Japanese forever inside of this concrete monstrosity. Unfortunately, they would come to the realization that this decision had already been made for them because at some point the distillery that purifies their drinking water became damaged, and without US ships being able to bring them water, they weren't going to be able to hold out. So, given that they have to surrender tomorrow, but they still want to fight, they decide, hey, let's get
I'll
rid of
catch
all
y'all
this
boys
ammunition
later.
that we have. And they fire at the Japanese
Aye.
ships non-stop, as fast as they can, for like the next 18 hours straight. And apparently, according to legend, it got so hot inside of Fort Drum that it was able to increase the muzzle velocity of the guns, and they were able to score more hits on Japanese ships that thought that they were out of range. And they continued to fire non-stop until 11:59 on May 6th, when they were finally forced to surrender at noon. They then proceeded to sabotage the guns, the power plant, and flood as much of Fort Drum as they possibly could, making it useless to the Imperial Japanese. At the time of their capture, all 240 men were still alive, and only 5 of them had been injured after weeks of combat. They would then be taken as prisoners by the Imperial Japanese, where the majority of the men would be tortured, starved, and worked to death, and it is believed that less than 30 of the men at Fort Drum returned home after World War II. Fast forward 3 years, 1945, America is now winning the war in the Pacific.
You know they were fucking pissed that it took that much in resources to take out one little fucking non-usable fucking bunker.
Concrete bunker. Yeah.
They pulled up in that bitch, finally got everybody out, and they're like, okay, let's assess the damage. Then like, these motherfuckers.
Fuck! 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 We can't even use this fucking thing.
And they have returned to the
Good.
Philippines
Fuck
to
'em.
reclaim them from the Japanese. At this point, Fort Drum is believed to be completely
go to drink
inoperable,
the
and nobody
water
has
from
seen
the, like,
anything that would
The piss refiltration system, it's just pure piss.
suggest otherwise, until in April of 1945, an American PT boat would get a little bit too close, and Japanese machine guns would begin firing upon him from Fort Drum. This intel gets sent up the chain of command, at which point nobody really knows what's happening. Maybe they're trying to restore Fort Drum and use it. Maybe there's just a bunch of Japanese soldiers that are being barracked there. Who knows? Either way, Uncle Sam says, you know what? That's mine, and I'm gonna need it back. So at first, they try to bomb it with planes. Obviously, that's not gonna work. It didn't work when the Japanese did it. I don't know why they thought it would work now. Then they send out a cruiser to shell it with naval gunfire. Again, obviously it doesn't work, at which point, shit proceeds to get out of hand pretty quick. Basically, the chain of command didn't really know what to do, so they're like, hear me out. Let's just give the blueprints for Fort Drum to an entire platoon of Army combat engineers, aka the Demolition Men, and tell them to get rid of it, and the sooner they do, the sooner we all get to go home. So the engineers
See,
take the blueprints,
this is
they
what
go
I'm
come up with a
talking
plan.
about.
I don't really know
This
how
is
long
the
it
shit
took them.
is
I
why
presume about the same amount of
America
time it takes
kept
them to smoke
winning.
a cigarette. That's probably not a coincidence. They come back to the chain of command. They're like, okay, here's what I need. All right, we're gonna need an entire company of infantry, 1,000 gallons of gasoline, 2,000 gallons of diesel, all the incendiary and white phosphorus grenades you can find, a 30-minute fuse, and a camera guy, because you're gonna want to get this shit on
Enough
video.
time.
And apparently the chain of command is like, okay. So a couple days later, April, Friday the 13th, 1945, the U.S. forces launch Drum D-Day. 2 American ships pull up, drop landing ramps onto Fort Drum, and all the infantry and combat engineers run out to secure the deck, at which point they start taking fire from one of the 6-inch guns. They all return fire, including the ships, until that 6-inch gun stops. Then they secure the entire deck, and the combat engineers get to work. The engineers then run a hose up onto Fort Drum and begin pumping 3,000 gallons of gasoline and diesel into the air vent of Fort Drum. They then proceed to put 600 pounds of TNT, a bunch of white phosphorus, and incendiary grenades on top of it, rig it up to a 30-minute fuse,
So
light
there's
it, and
Japs
fucking
inside
run.
of this
they
thing
hop
right
back in the
now.
boats, they sailed a safe distance away, and then they waited.
Yeah,
and
but
they
if you don't
watched.
think about them,
And
it's
this is what they
okay.
saw.
I mean, that's not exactly what I was even trying
That
to imply.
explosion
It's
was
just
so
like,
powerful
could
that it
you
shot the
imagine the
2,000-pound
motherfuckers
hat.
inside? Like, what do you even do or think in that scenario? You just know you're fucked.
I'd be getting out of there. The fuck?
You get out and get instantly fucking turned into Swiss cheese?
I don't know.
Yeah, you'll die a quicker death inside. And you'll probably already be passed out from the fucking inhaling gas for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. They probably, yeah. I don't know. You don't think they came out and took them as prisoners? Damn, you guys really just...
On top of Fort Drum, 300 feet into the air.
You guys
and
love war crimes.
if you watch the video a little bit closer, you can actually see the hatch punch through the top of the mushroom cloud before falling back into the smoke. The diesel fire inside of Fort Drum then proceeded to burn for 5 days straight, officially putting an end to any hopes of ever restoring it to its former glory. In the coming months, American and Filipino forces would reclaim the Philippines, Japan would end up surrendering, World War II would come to a close, and the next year, on July 4th, 1946, the Philippines would gain their independence, becoming their own sovereign nation, and thus taking control of Fort Drum, where it still sits at the mouth of Manila Bay, pretty much in the same condition that America left it, serving as a powerful reminder to not mess with America's boats, or anything that even kinda sorta looks like a boat for that matter, okay? Just don't. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over.
Yeah, just don't. Really, just fucking don't. Okay? Because we have hoats. And don't touch our hoats. Because we'll fuck you up.
Hoats and bows. Hoats and bows.
Unless you're Israel, then you use a combined air and sea attack to sink the USS Liberty and just apologize later. Where's their harbor
Yep.
master? He was trying to fuck on me. USA after one of their carriers gets hit with a bottle rocket while docked. Have an imagery attack, we will go to war with the commie bastards. Not referring to the Tonkin Bay incident. Also not 100% accurate when the USS Cole was attacked in Yemen and we sat on our hands. All right, well, this has been fun. We'll catch you in the next one.